for now.
Alright, you want me to just, do you want me to just spread my link so I can tell people? If they're watching me. If they're watching me, just... let's see.
I should have a link on my end. Yeah, I got a link on my end.
Alright.
Yeah, I'll just repost.
Okay. Let's see. So, anyway. Like I was asking?
Yeah, with regarding to GT, though, my opinions are mixed, obviously, because I've only ever been introduced to GT Sport from the get-go. Like, I knew of the Gran Turismo franchise, but I never had a PlayStation to play it on in the past, so... Sport was kind of my entry into the franchise as a whole.
Well, I guess, like, do you think that they'll continue any focus on VR? Do you think they'll expand the game modes? What do you think will happen with GT Sport being a cross-gen title? If it is a cross-gen title, like, what do you think? What do you think on all of those?
I think VR, they'd be smart if they were going to expand the VR. They'll probably offer a more fuller campaign mode than what Sport had. What was the other points you mentioned?
Like it being a cross-gen title. Do you think that they're gonna come out with a Gran Turismo 7, or do you think they're really gonna try and flesh out GT Sport more? The reason why I asked that is because it seems as though we should be getting another update in the next 3 or 4 days. Like, we should. Yeah. But, of course, we never get any indication if we are or not.
Yeah.
So, based off of how... Oh, let's just start. Let's do the Bentleys.
We'll do the Bentleys, yeah. I'll do the Bentleys because I died. But,
So with Gran Turismo Sport, they've been really, like, no matter what camp you're in, they've been really lacking on the content updates lately.
Yeah.
So, do you think that they'll try to continue? Because it seems as though they've treated this game pretty poorly really recently, so do you think they'll... Do you think that they have GT7 kind of in the background, like, do you think they're going to release it with this next generation, or do you think that they're going to try and revive Sport again?
Well, I think the way I'm thinking it's going to go is Sport's going to go the way of the Dodo, undoubtedly. It's probably going to die within the next year or two after GT7 comes out, or they'll kill it before 7, who knows. But the way I see it, even from the get-go, the way they promote Sport was like, we have a whole new engine, a whole new system, and all this stuff. So the way I view Sport as, it's more of a test bed for their new stuff, anyway. I'm kind of hoping 7 will be more of a fuller experience in that regard, using the same engine. My take, I think that's kind of why it's been treated so poorly from the get-go, is just, it's a test bed. They want to find out what they can get away with, what they can't get away with, and clearly with Sport, they've found out what they can and can't do, I think. Or if they're listening to fans at all, they'll have found out anyway.
Yeah.
But
like, once again, whenever Kaz is talking about how he's surprised that people play the older games, I think that's really that really is a... It's how do I put this? There would be no need to go to the older games if the older games didn't have something to offer over the new ones.
That's true.
Like, if all you did was make the games better and better and better,
yeah,
then there'd be no reason to go to the older games.
Yeah. But if you go backwards on it, then it ends up like people are just going to go back to the old ones because the old ones have better stuff than the new ones. So.
Right. So, kind of like with how Gran Turismo 1 is very unique in the series, in my opinion. Because basically what they did with Gran Turismo 2 is they had Gran Turismo 1, but everything was better. Like, more cars, more tracks,
yeah,
bigger career mode, better prizes, more music. there really isn't anything... If you're just going off of content alone, Gran Turismo 1 is the only game where you're not really gonna... It's not really offering anything extra.
Yeah.
So, if they just do it where Gran Turismo 7 is GT Sport with let's say, more cars, more tracks, an actual career mode, then I don't think that there would be any reason to go back to GT Sport. And they could easily just kind of kill it off and kind of forget about it.
Yeah.
Because there are many mechanics in the game that, for longevity purposes, just don't... It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I won't name them all right now. They're pretty easy to spot in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Kaz's point, if all you did was make the new games better than the old games, then there'd be no, people wouldn't be going to the old games, and you'd be right to be surprised that people were doing it. But
yeah.
Gran Turismo 3 has a lot of things that Gran Turismo Sport just doesn't have.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's also the nostalgia factor. That's one of the things.
Yeah.
Is that people like how the old, maybe how the way that the cars feel brings back memories, or the music in particular.
Yeah, which is something you really can't very easily recreate because of copyright restrictions, so...
Right. If Sony were smart, what they would do is they would use only Sony music in Gran Turismo.
Kind of like how Criterion, when they made the first two Burnouts, used their own music, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, what I think they should do is definitely one of the goals that I would have is because Gran Turismo is such a moneymaker for the Sony range of consoles.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, best-selling exclusive on the platform.
Mm-hmm.
Is if Sony really wants to push VR, since now they don't have DRIVECLUB VR anymore. DRIVECLUB was supposed to be the intermediary between GT6 and whatever next GT there was going to be.
Yeah.
And DRIVECLUB VR was one of the things that they used to push virtual reality and the headset. So since that's gone, they need a new racing game to do that. They need something that really pushes the boundaries.
Yeah.
And they can't just have Wipeout Omega Collection, because while it is really nice, it's still not... It still doesn't, get the essence of the track racer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So I would definitely make it so that the entire game, online, offline, 24-hour races, rain races, off-road races, tests, missions, it does not matter. You can play the entire game in virtual reality.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I would strive for.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be pretty easy since the PlayStation 5 is powerful enough to do that.
Yeah.
But that would be one of the things that I do first.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, I'm actually going to change... the same... I'm just going to make it a different layout of the circuit, because I think there's a portion that gets cut off in the first version.
Ah, okay.
So...
And what car are we thinking of doing this time? I was actually surprised how competently the Bentley handled.
Yes, it handles very well.
It was boat-like, but it still handled pretty average. Have you tried the GTI Design Vision before, or no?
The Peugeot? Yes, I have.
No, not the Peugeot, the Volkswagen.
The VW?
VW GTI Design Vision. It's got a twin-turbo VR6 and all-wheel drive, and...
I guess...
It's right beside the Bentley.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't have much time left. I guess let's do that. Let's
Okay.
do. Oh, basically, it's the Vision GT.
Yeah.
VW.
I'll do mine in custom wrap.
All right, I'll do mine in factory. But yeah, with Gran Turismo, that would be one of the things. I would do that, but also what I would do is say with the
Ooh, look at the cross brace in the back of this thing.
oh, I would say with the what is it, the real life events. I would make it to that they used VR.
Ooh, we're getting pretty close here.
Just to kind of push the boundaries.
Yeah.
That part of the circuit still gets cut off.
Whoa!
Did I cut you off?
I was like, I had to take the inside off track there.
Okay, I cut you off then.
But I'm too far behind you to really make a difference of that. That time I really missed the apex.
Yeah, I would have the similar to how they have the wheels from the Gran Turismo branded wheels at the live events. Ooh.
Woohoo! Woohoo! Whoa! I was so close to taking you out, Mark.
I was already taken out, so don't worry.
No, like I was about to smash your rear end.
Oh, that's a short course. Okay.
Huh.
So similar to how they have the Gran Turismo branded wheels at the live events, I would have the VR headsets at the live events. Don't go into third gear, apparently. So just to sell the headsets for Sony and to sell the game as being VR ready, because I do remember that being a huge complaint for people on release of the game.
Yeah.
Because Polyphony had said that you would be able to play the entire game in VR. And that's what people were expecting.
Yeah.
And then they got a race with a stupid AI and a very limited Forza Vista copy mode.
Yeah. With time trial.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that I would do as just for marketing in general, because in my opinion, I don't think the car list is terrible right now. It just needs more things that are geared towards the game's vision as a whole.
Right. Whoa! Okay, don't shift too soon.
So, for instance, if you have a VR game, if you have a VR driving game, what would you want to... What kind of cars would you want to have?
Probably a mix of old and new, obviously.
Well, what specific type of car? What... Like, a type of car that would accentuate the VR experience.
So in other words, maybe something really fancy? Or a nice interior, at least.
Nice interior. I was thinking topless. A lot of topless cars.
So you could experience the environment more.
Exactly. And the sense of speed. So like the Miata, or the S2000.
Right.
Or like maybe an Audi R10.
Right. Yeah, and I'll confess, actually, speaking of Mazda Miata, I personally think... I did win. I personally think that the, with GT Sports VR, they did the most attention to the Miata, I think, because that interior is just the best.
Yeah, the 2016 one?
Yeah, it has so much detail. It's like they put the most effort in that car for VR exclusively, because everything else has good little pieces and stuff, but just everything about the MX-5 looks so clear compared to everything else on all the other cars.
Right. And I mean, it makes sense considering that that's one of the base cars that you can use.
Yeah.
Like, you can use that at any time for time trial. But
that's true.
But definitely, like, topless cars, make it so that you can, like, hear the wind. Make the sun just, like, a little exaggerated in how and how bright it is.
Yeah.
I would also have if you have to have static time of day and weather. One of the golden standards, like the one that you have to have, is clear noon.
Yeah.
Clear noon. That is absolutely, because then you feel the sun the most. It's whenever most people are at least up, and most things look the best around then, especially in virtual reality.
Yeah.
I would also have night. Another thing that I would have is rain. Just rain, period.
That would be pretty cool in VR.
Because rain in games is it's seen as kind of a cheat for graphics, but it really does work. It's really nice to see rain, and especially drive in rain. Yeah. I cannot tell you how cool it was for the first time, and Project Cars 1 on the PC, whenever I got my headset, I drove in the rain at the Nürburgring.
That was a thrill.
It was surreal how cool that is. I mean, even if I didn't really do too well, even if I spun out a few times, or if I didn't really go above, say, 50, that experience is just amazing. Another one is, like, Dead of Night. Absolute, like, pitch black.
Yeah.
Because I do have a stream from, I don't know, maybe almost a year ago. Probably actually over a year ago now, where I played Project Cars 2 in VR, and I used the McLaren P1 GTR at the Nürburgring in the dead of night.
Nice.
That was actually kind of scary.
Yeah. All right, what are we choosing?
Pick a vehicle. Is the Aston Martin here? This is the closest that we're gonna get.
The V12 Zagato?
Vanquish. The Vanquish.
Vanquish. What tier is that under?
Performance.
Oh, I see it here. Yeah, okay. You want to do that then?
Yeah.
Alright. What color
this
you
time
going
I actually go with the burnt orange.
Oh, the burnt orange. I forgot about that color. That's such a nice color. I'll keep that Miami blue look.
Alright.
But yeah, no, nighttime in the dark, or driving in the dark in VR is very cool. Even this game, when we did some of those night races, that was so much fun.
Yep.
I mean, granted, I'll say this is probably one of the weirdest takes for immersion factor. Oh, this is a whole different track. I didn't notice that.
Yep.
But you ever played Need for Speed Shift, the original?
I played Need for Speed Shift, not very much because of the poor wheel implementation.
Okay, fair. It actually handles really nice with the DFGT. I recommend that, by the way.
Okay. I'll have to move around my setup a ton to do that, but I think I'll try that at some point.
Yeah.
Or maybe maybe I can do that on the PS3.
Maybe.
Because that's what the wheel is hooked up currently to.
Fair. But yeah, no, Shift felt really nice with the wheel. But I remember one of the times when I first got into it, I think it was Shift, maybe it was Shift 2 the more I think about it now. But one of the Shift titles anyway, I actually decided to run the Nürburgring at night.
Ooh.
And I will say, that was a bona fide immersive experience for me. Not even VR, but just the way the depth worked in that game. I think it was Shift 2, actually. Because I think one of Shift 2's biggest selling points was that you had night mode for once.
Okay.
But it was just so immersive. It honestly did feel quite scary, actually. Especially with an AI driver on to kind of tail you.
Oh, wow.
It felt like I was doing Initial D, man. But...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is one of the things that I would go for. Another thing that I would go for is... I mean, I know it's a kind of copycat thing, but do Forza Vista. let me look at the cars, because the people who buy Gran Turismo, one of the things that they really, really like is the cars.
Yeah.
And the more of the car that you give them for their money, the more that they'll appreciate it. Oop.
Man, the engine's so quiet, I keep forgetting that I'm actually, like, redlining on these things. But yeah. Yeah, no, it'd be nice to actually, like, see the commitment the developers have made with detail to cars.
If Polyphony has done what I'm pretty sure it has done, which is they only modeled the interiors of the cars and the exteriors. They didn't model, like, the
hinges.
They didn't model the engine.
Hmm.
So, if they've done that, then
well, that's the thing, though. That's the thing, though. He was saying that, or one of the developers I remember reading from, I think it was a GT Planet article, they actually have, like, the CAD files from the manufacturer.
I thought that was iRacing.
No, that was GT. Like, they're taking CAD files from the manufacturer and downsizing them.
Oh, that's right. They have to go from, like, 7 million down to 70,000 or something polygons.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not so much the modeling issue, it's just that, you know, they're dealing with, like, downsizing effectively 3 times, 4 times under. So, and I mean, they probably have the ability to model out the engine if they wanted to. It's just actually currently not sufficient to broadcast gameplay. What? Why does that pop up on my end?
I don't know.
But yeah, no, like, they were downsizing at least 3 or 4 times under what the manufacturer